about the only thing.
It was shot for the gram. All right, nice. All right, cool. Cheers, fellas and ladies.
Cheers.
Yes.
Where's the cocktail?
Oh, there's Frangelica.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay.
Your version of a coffee cocktail, right?
Yep. Which is just, I woke up late today, so I need some coffee. Let me put some alcohol in it.
What you say, Frangelico was in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Frangelico.
That's that the meme that made me laugh this year for the Zoom meetings hack where you take your you cut off the little tag from a tea bag and you tape it on the inside of the mug so that you can still put your booze inside, but it looks like tea.
Oh, my lighting's terrible.
Do you want to do something about it, or are you just gonna...
There's not much I can do. I can go from bad to worse to really bad. It looks so much better on the camera, the regular camera I use.
Oh yeah,
so,
you're set up for that camera. So
yeah.
Do you have, because it looks super grainy, do you have like the touch up my appearance or something on?
Nope, this is the my wife's laptop. The only other thing with the camera would be my cell phone, and it won't get a good enough signal down here, or the my work laptop. And as I'm supposed to be working right now, let me check the lighting.
you better do an episode one day where he features those swords.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
Yes.
It's like,
Garnish. You gotta garnish.
thing.
You gotta garnish something with those things.
yes, get one of those
Garnish a
giant
watermelon.
martini glasses and then go.
Just
Yes.
a giant watermelon. Just garnish a watermelon. That's it.
You could
All right,
do
David,
the,
we're saying one day you got to make a drink in a giant martini glass and then use one of your swords as a garnish and put like a whole watermelon on it.
I think he needs to do the champagne salute, you know?
That too.
Yeah. I'm kind of clumsy.
Yeah, actually, you're right about that. You might want to ixnay on the sword snaying.
Oh no, the sword part's fine. There's not a lot of room in here to work with too.
You can only injure so many people, right?
Yeah, probably mostly me.
Never actually sabered a bottle before. It's something I want to try for sure.
I did it once. It was fun. But you have to go really close to like the cork and like right underneath the cork, where the cork meets the bottle.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people like accidentally hit the bottle and like shatter.
Yeah, you don't want to hit that bump.
Yeah.
Well, it's where did I watched a video. It might have been Greg at How to Drink, but
Yeah, he did like
the science behind it. And it's all about going along the seam on one of the sides because it's like the point of least resistance, and that's where you hit that perfectly, and it'll just right off.
All right, so let's get started.
Let's do it.
Go.
On that note.
Hey guys, welcome to Chef Grace's Place. We got our first actually group interview. We're doing the hashtag Spice on the Rocks 2021 challenge this month.
That's the one.
So who's gonna win? That's the question.
Well, there's no winners. Only you guys.
I mean, they say there's no winners, but there's always a winner.
Oh, yeah, it's a friendly competition. No one wants to say I'm the best, but it's definitely a friendly competition. I think.
We want to. Yeah, absolutely. We want to have everybody incorporating just trying new things.
I think it's cool just for yourself to challenge yourself, though, too, like to see.
Well, as myself being like, I'm not. A lot of these guys are professional bartenders. They've gone to school. They work in the industry, but I know myself and some of the other people in the community, we're just enthusiasts. Never worked in a bar, not trained. So it is a bit intimidating when you say, okay, like I'm used to doing classic cocktails that I go from a recipe to then now I gotta think and create something myself. And it's intimidating going against, especially people like Kevin Koss, who's like won competitions in cocktails.
He's a whole different breed, though.
He's a whole different level.
Yeah,
but it's so it's a little intimidating, but it's fun and challenging at the same time to say, okay, like what works, and let's just try different things, and then to put that out there and to everyone in the community, which this community is growing all the time. We're finding new channels like every day, Sorry, Peter's finding new channels.
Peter, yeah,
every day.
Peter's finding new channels every day. You find them out. There's a guy, tribal bar guy, and every time you find a new channel, you think you discovered it, you see his comments. And like, how does this guy find every channel before everyone else?
He's watching channels every single day. Like
he's
new
awesome.
channels every single day.
Nice guy.
Great, yeah.
I don't know how he does it. I don't have the time between work and what I'm doing to even just keep up watching the videos for everybody I'm subscribing to. But when I see one, I'm like, okay, I'll take a look. There's Peter. Peter's
exactly. He's always there.
So have you guys done your cocktail video yet?
Mine's coming out Friday.
Friday?
So I don't know when this is releasing, but it might be out.
Yeah, I have an ingredient I need to pick up tomorrow before I can finish mine.
Well, I know what I wanted to do. I'm having a hard time finding the ingredients I want to do for the peppers, so I'm going to have to change it, unfortunately.
Is everyone doing peppers?
No, mine is infused with just spices, but it's hot though. But it's infused already.
It's been a bit different. I mean, we left the challenge completely open. It's not. Make it spicy. That's the only thing. Make it spicy. So there's many ways of doing that. You can use a liqueur that's already spicy. You can use peppers. You can muddle some Scotch bonnets in an old fashioned.
Or not.
God, that was bad. Or not. That was
horrible. Just eat the peppers.
Use
it as a chaser. Yeah, just eat a pepper and then do some. That's what you should do, David. Eat a pepper, then 151.
That's David's kind of new MO. Like this, I don't even know if it's new, but his MO is to take a shot of like 151 or something after eating the egg white or the egg yolk. And
I started it one day and now I have to keep going. But my face, the day I get used to doing it'll be a problem.
The worst one was when you did that collab you did with Jean Felix. And you took a shot for some reason. You were punishing yourself, and you took a shot of the 151. And God, I think you took more than like a shot. That face you made, I felt the pain.
A few gulps. It's a few gulps.
Yeah.
But so I mean, for mine, I'm doing like I said, it's coming out Friday. But I did an infusion, so infused gin with a Margarita pepper, Margarita chili, which is it's a jalapeno that is smoked and then dried. So it's nice. It's spicy, but it's not overly spicy. It's just a jalapeno, but it's got a nice smoky flavor to it. So I infused some gin with that, and then I made kind of a version of a bee's knees. So with some honey syrup and lemon, and actually really it came out really good. I was not expecting. I was expecting to have to dial back, maybe do like half my spicy gin, half regular gin, because the infusion is almost undrinkable. It's super spicy, but in the cocktail, it actually comes out really nice. So it's not one that you want to drink on your own.
So how did you get started with your channel?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I have you in speaker view. So
guy in the top left. So I got started. So it's another kind of pandemic thing that, it's been a hobby of mine for several years. It's funny how I got started in cocktails with my wife basically just said, you need a hobby. I'm like, well, I like drinking, so let's make that a hobby. And I started following, I basically was completely self-taught from YouTube. Like I started following guys like the big guys like How to Drink and Steve the Bartender, Leandro, Educated Barfly, and learn from that. And then it just became an overwhelming hobby. Takes up a lot of my money and time. And then, just, bored during the pandemic. That was around June, I think I started. And just decided, and my background is video editing. And so I've got another YouTube channel where I do Photoshop tutorials and video editing tutorials and stuff like that. So I had that already. And I was like, well, you know what, why don't I put some of that knowledge and make a cocktail and see if it takes off. And so I started with one, of course, just pretty much like everyone started with the old fashioned, and put that up there and had good response on this from people I know. Like obviously I post on Facebook and had good response there. So then a week later, I'm like, well, let's record another one. And then it went on maybe about 2 months in, I kind of started discovering this community. You know, it started with Vino and David, and then just trickled into so many other channels. And the energy that you get off everyone seeing all those videos every week, and you're like, oh, that's cool. I want to do something like that, and I want to try that drink. And then there's just so much energy, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, I basically was a similar situation, but I am from the industry. I've had 15 years of industry experience, food and beverage director, and events and catering. So I did that for a really long time, and then COVID happened, and my entire industry is dead. You know, I'm in New York City, so events and catering is absolutely dead. It's just it's over for the foreseeable future. It sucks. So I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I want to keep my sword sharp. I want to remain, active in the things that I love, which is beverage. And so, I always follow the same thing, like, how to drink and Steve the bartender and whatnot. But the one that I love, and Rob knows this, is this guy Bruce over at Bar Talk. I love this guy because he's like the bartenders I grew up with. This kind of old school guy.
Canadian, by the way.
What's that?
Canadian, by the way.
Canadian. Who knew I'd make such good Canadian friends to this business? Anyway, so it never occurred to me to really even think about starting a channel, but I saw something in watching him that made me go, let me give this a try, because I'm very off color. I'm not very I'm not I'm not very predictable. I don't write anything down. I don't, I just go with it. I do all my videos in one take, and I just kind of like that he felt organic like that. And so I decided to do it, and it's been awesome. And meeting Rob and David and a few of the other guys, it's been super cool. It's been a great fun ride. I personally can't believe how much everyone really gets along and really supports each other. It's awesome. I think it's the best niche on YouTube, probably. We've discussed this, me and Vino, but that's an interesting thing. Is, I mean, I've done videos on YouTube in, like I said earlier, in the design Photoshop niche, as well as in the martial arts. Oh
no, you froze. Oh crap.
Bigger your channel gets bigger, you will get some trolling. The bigger
you get, the more you find those guys.
Probably.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Yeah. So I started doing this in 2019. I needed a hobby. I was at that spot where work was really beating me up, and all I was doing was working, and it was getting into everything else. So I hopped online to YouTube, oddly enough, and it showed me 3 guys behind a bar, Common Man Cocktails, having a good time. They're funny to watch. They argue back and forth, and you can usually hear the wives in the background yelling at it. And I just thought to myself, they look like they're having a great time. So I then looked up the old fashioned, and I got the Educated Barfly, I got Steve the bartender. Like, these guys are on their own. I could do this. And usually when that happens, I'm off to the races, no way I go. I may not do it well, but I'll get there eventually, right? And I worked in a bar when I was 19, and their idea in that country hick bar of a New York sour was, give me a shot of whiskey and Minute Maid lemonade.
Whoa!
Oh God!
Oh yes! Oh yeah!
Oh
no! That's going back. So when I got into this and I started buying a couple of books and watching some more videos, I realized there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of information, and I enjoy the fun part. And then I had to start picking up skills in using Premiere, and I'm still terrible at that. I do everything the hard way. And because most of after work, everything happens at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm working on 3 hours sleep while I'm doing that, I find I make all sorts of errors in my videos. And some of the days it's like, it's a great video. The next morning it's, hey, Dave, what are you doing?
But Dave, that's the charm in like someone like your channel, I think of mine also, where we just kind of like go with it. And, if you mess up, you mess up. And dude, I've got 15 years experience and I still screw up. So it's like, it's honestly, it's because you're just being organic. You're being yourself. I think it's part of our personalities, and it's reflected in our videos and stuff. And I think, I know from myself watching you, that's part of your charm. I think I dig that. That he doesn't edit out. Like, we're just doing this to have some fun.
I know that when I first started, I used to have a bunch of notes under my camera. and I would struggle trying to get through the notes. Now I just struggle trying to get through a sentence just because I can't speak.
You know, it's funny, if you go to like any channel and you go back to their first video and you watch it, and I mean, do it to myself. I've looked at your guys' first videos, and it's you can tell you're less comfortable, you're more robotic, man. And like, hi, today we're gonna make an old fashioned.
My first videos, man. Those first 10 videos, I'm like, oh my god. I'm only keeping these up the algorithm.
First 100. They've been forgotten by the algorithm. They'll never be seen ever again by anybody.
No, once I get to that monetization, they're coming down.
Nah, you gotta leave them.
Rob, so unfortunately, as soon as you said the word martial arts, you froze. So I was wondering if you could tell me what you were saying.
Oh no. So how long of a bit did you miss there? Am I back on now?
Yeah, you're back on it. I just didn't want to interrupt because the conversation was going so well. But like as soon as you stopped talking, then it went in again.
Oh no.
That was an important piece. I think you should actually.
What was I saying? I don't remember.
It was about the community getting along.
Oh, the community, yes.
Community, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was like, so I've done a lot of, like, before doing the cocktail videos, I've been doing for years doing the videos on YouTube in the Photoshop editing niche, as well as the martial arts side.
What martial art and what do you?
I do. I've been an instructor in jiu-jitsu for many years. I've been doing it pretty much my whole life.
I do jiu-jitsu too.
Oh, awesome.
I've been doing it since I was 12. That's awesome.
All right, Dave, this is where we step away. I think we're done.
No. Last time I was in, I dislocated a shoulder.
But so anyway, so we've done, and I've done like having my filmmaking background. I've done a lot of short films, short martial art films and stuff like that. And just the amount of negative comments and trolling you get in those niches is astounding compared to the cocktail niche. I've gotten, I mean, yes, our channels are still fairly small, but I've gotten like everyone in the community is just so nice. Everything's positive. There's no negativity. You would think that you'd get the occasional guy coming on going like, that's not how you make that drink, but you don't get that. You really don't. I'm sure.
I think I think when it comes to YouTube and everything, you have people are starting to realize that like, just because like you have a cocktail channel doesn't mean the other cocktail channel is not going to be successful. So you don't have to be like adversaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say subscribing is free. Subscribing is free. So it's not like, you're not fighting for someone's subscription or their money. It's not, I can subscribe to every channel on YouTube for absolutely free. So just do your thing and do it well and support the next guy. And hopefully you guys can work together and help boost each other's channels, which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the whole, and
go ahead.
Yeah, and creating a community like this and engaging, like me and Vino, we chat a lot on Instagram and always talking about engaging. And there are certain channels out there that we find, and there's just no engagement. And if I comment back, reply, let's start a. Because
the algorithm likes that stuff. Exactly. I mean, I just found Jessica Savage. Like, she just popped up on my page.
She's awesome.
She's so fun. I was like,
yeah.
My sense of humor.
Our videos are good. I just started. I think she's started following each other not too long ago, and started watching her videos. And she's got great personality on camera.
Yeah, good energy. Mm-hmm. And you like to see it because remember, we're still fans of the genre. So it's not like we don't want to see other great channels. It's great to see new guys come up, and you're like, oh man, this guy's great, or this, I love this cocktail. I never thought of it. You can't think of everything, and even guys like myself who've been doing this for a long time, I'm still learning new cocktails. I see stuff on Rob and David's channel I never heard of, or it's a classic cocktail, especially, David does a lot of like Margarita Mondays where he does different versions of margaritas. When you're working in the business, you make one margarita most of the time. So seeing different versions is always fun, so it's cool to see what the other guys have to bring to the table.
It's funny.
Even if it's 15 old fashions at the beginning, like Rob said, eventually people start doing cooler and new original stuff.
Well, and even the old fashioned, there's like a million different ways to make it. I remember back when I started in July, one of my friends who doesn't know anything about the cocktail world, I told him about the idea what I started doing, and he's like, well, how long can you keep that up? I mean, how many cocktails are there? And I just kind of laughed at him, like, dude,
you have no
there's more
idea.
than 5.
Well, I mean,
Very original. There's a variation. Just that's the thing too. That's the thing to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
You could do an entire channel just on the old fashioned.
oh yeah,
You'd have content for years.
Yeah.
I had
You've
the,
almost, Rob. You've almost done that. I think you've done like 7 old fashioned.
I have a playlist. Yeah, I have a playlist on for old fashioned variations. It's my favorite drink, and I love tweaking it in different ways.
Yeah.
Just wait, I'll build my Margarita playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna get big.
No, I mean, how many of you done already for the Margarita
Gotta have
Mondays?
10 minimum, right?
At least.
10, at least 12. I
Yeah.
have 60 recipes that I've been working on.
what's your
Nice.
favorite one you've done so far?
Actually,
Please don't say the maraschino one. Please.
no,
don't,
it's
don't,
good.
Dave,
It's actually
don't,
good,
Dave.
but no.
You're not gonna do that today, David.
No, actually, I think one of the earliest variations was a jalapeno margarita.
Was it the
the
jalapeno
original-
peach?
No, just the straight jalapeno.
Okay.
Was one of my favorites. Although the Christmas margarita with its orange notes absolutely knocks it out of the park too.
It's one of those. It's one of those drinks that you can just take any which way. You really, to call it a margarita, you really only need tequila.
Yeah.
And then
Well-
after that, you can just whatever you want.
After my maraschinos cherry, I thought, I'm going to teach people how to make cherries.
That's a
As
good
long as, they
idea.
don't, as long as they don't glow in the dark, go ahead. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was sick the next day, so maybe that was it.
Remember Vino? We did that on Instagram. We did that I had that poll.
Oh
like
yeah,
Sardo
that's
versus
right, yeah.
like Sardo versus Neon Red, and some people got upset.
It's a point of contention. And I know in my industry, because in events and catering, presentation is everything, right?
Yes.
Because you're pre-batching a lot of cocktails, and you're doing weddings and stuff like that. So everything is so intricate. Every detail is so important. And so if you have these like neon red cherries, it just looks cheap. So it's always important to use these like Luxardos or Bada Bing or anything that's kind of just the darker red. It looks like you put more quality and more time into the cocktail. So the neon red.
I think
cherries-
the neons have their place too. Though.
and for maybe what's a pina coladas and the kind of stuff like that.
If you make like a blue, pina colada or like a blue, like an AMF, like it's neon
like
blue.
stuff like that. Yeah.
You want that neon blue, neon red. It just goes well together.
But just think about the
Milwaukee
those
old fashioned
cocktails.
with a dark one.
Not with the
Was that?
old-fashioned.
Don't do the Milwaukee old fashioned with
No.
it has to be a red neon.
Oh, does it?
maraschino cherry.
So
Yeah,
that's a
And I get flack because I didn't use Corbel brandy, and unfortunately, I didn't have access to it. So I chose the next best brandy I could find.
and that's the thing funny about you said that because again having been in the industry so long and the old fashioned being my favorite cocktail, I never heard or knew that Wisconsin had their own version until recently. Rob sent me a video. Told me about it.
Mad Men.
Mad Men. And
Yeah.
I've never seen the show. And so the
I
guy
did.
makes an old Wisconsin style old fashioned, and I was like, "What the f is that?"
Yeah, so this is the Don. I don't know if you're familiar with Mad Men. I've actually never watched it, but I
Oh,
know.
how does Mr. Rat Pack over there never saw Mad Men?
Yeah, I'm not a big TV guy. That's why.
But yeah, so on Mad Men, Don Draper is like famous. Again, I've never watched the show, but I know of the character, and he's famous for being the guy who always drinks an old fashioned.
Yeah.
And there's a famous scene in there that you see him. They're having a dialogue, so it's kind of like background action. But he jumps behind the bar and he makes himself an old fashioned, and the technique is all wrong. And he pours it in a glass. He muddles cherries and then he dumps way too much ice, and then he dumps like half a bottle of club soda, and then he just does a quick stir like this, and it's just like, oh god,
It
what are you
hurts to
doing?
watch. It hurts to watch.
And I remember looking at
it's-
the comment section, and one person there's thousands of comments on it, but looking at the comment section, one person was like, "This is how I've been making my old fashioned for years," and then one person replies and goes, "So you've been making it wrong."
That's why.
It's just funny. I feel like what's that?
I said that's why he was a marketing executive, not a bartender.
But I mean, unless if the show was set more in like Wisconsin, which we found out from Anders, like I never knew about that one either.
No.
But if it was supposed to be set in like Wisconsin or somewhere where that's how they make their old fashions, they use crushed ice and they muddle cherries and stuff, which I find is disgusting, but that's how they like it.
Yeah. And then, like you said, the brandy also is something like to throw in there.
Yeah.
I always find that interesting because I'm sure you know this, Vino, like, but I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but every state has a different like liquor control board. So you can't.
We know that all too well.
Yeah.
Ontario has the worst one, I think.
Yeah, we are locked down for pretty much anything good.
You would think New York.
We literally
New York
have
is so strict.
we have the only liquor store that exists in Ontario is called the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, the LCBO. And so they got chains all over Ontario, but it's government operated, and it's the only place you can get liquor. So the problem is that if they don't carry it, you can't get it.
You can't get it. Wow.
And it's controlled on how you can import stuff too. Yeah. So
they've started opening in the past maybe 5 years, or maybe even less than that. They started opening sales of wine in grocery stores, but even then it's controlled by the LCBO. So it's the same stock. It's not like you're going to find something in the grocery store that you can't find at the LCBO. Can you drive over the border to the US and pick stuff up and go, or is it problematic? Well, right now it is with COVID.
Well, obviously,
but you can do it. Again, it depends on how long you're there for, how much you're spending. So you're going to have the taxes and whether they're going to confiscate any of it because you're way over the limit. But there's duty free. And again, the duty free doesn't have a lot of, really, it's all Ontario stuff anyways, if you're crossing in Ontario.
Yeah.
But I would love to zip across the border and just go nuts with a bunch of stuff just to try new stuff.
Yeah. You can also go over to, if you're, I'm fairly close to the Quebec border. So you can go over to Quebec and see if they have anything different. They've got their own, it's less regulated, but they have their own control board for liquor.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I would imagine if you guys can get to like Chicago or New York or something, you can get a hell of a lot of stuff that you probably can't
still
get.
a good drive.
I imagine it is. Montreal, I imagine it's pretty too, right? In that sense. You probably got pretty good collection and stuff.
I'm 5.5 hours from Montreal. Yeah. I'm
about 2 hours. So.
Yeah. Mr. Black Coffee Spirit is not that good, guys. not
that good.
It's good.
Oh, but don't say that. Don't. Steve might be listening.
Hey, the final video's out.
Yeah, I can talk crap now.
Yeah, he doesn't have to promote it anymore.
So he's got one more video he's got to do still. So
I just want to fun, right?
There's one. I remember Stefan, Stefan Voisi, who follows all of us and comments a lot.
Yeah.
He's been telling me about one coffee liqueur that's available in Ontario that is comparable to Mr. Black. Like it's more of it's a cold brew, and it's not as sweet as like Kahlua or stuff like that. Because honestly, I think the only I've had Kahlua and maybe Tia Maria. That's pretty much the extent of my coffee liqueur experience. I'm definitely looking to make my own. I found a few recipes and it looks pretty. So it's I know coffee. It's cold brew and then add simple syrup.
Listen, if you're a coffee drinker, Mr. Black is actually tremendous. It's like I don't think it's comparable to Kahlua, really. I think it's a whole different breed. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. But it's not a one-to-one replacement for Kahlua.
That's what I figured because it's less sweet, right?
It's so less sweet and it's much more of a coffee flavor. So, if you're used to making certain things with Kahlua, you may have to adjust the way the recipe works to
exactly. Like if you're making
Tia Maria, then.
Because if you're making like an espresso martini, you expect that to be like really sweet. Kahlua, I know a lot of recipes that's Kahlua and simple syrup. I find it's not necessary,
which is crazy.
Yeah, but if you're doing like a cold brew, like a Mr. Black, you'll probably. Again, I don't know, but I would assume you'd probably have to add some simple syrup to that.
But it depends how you like your drinks. If you like them stiff,
I guess.
Because I've done it, and I was like, no, I like it just the way it was with Mr. Black. No simple syrup, nothing. This was awesome, just like that. It felt like a stiff breakfast drink, coffee.
Yeah,
I have those all the time.
I have one right now.
I'm getting a little low here.
It's time. Who's the lush of the group here?
Come on, guys.
I
Down
can,
those
but
drinks.
I've got a proper sipping drink. My Negroni is.
Yeah, so my Caparina here.
So what places were you working in New York? You know?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, no, I worked in the events business. I worked at a big exclusive venue in New York City.
Yeah, which
So
one?
we did the New York Public Library.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we did a lot of events there. I mean, we did major galas. We
Don't
did,
mind me.
Was that?
Don't mind me. I'm just making another.
Oh, did you put it inside of a?
He's got it.
Yeah, I need to get a
Cool.
proper ice box. I don't have a proper ice box. I got a little cooler back there.
So yeah, we did a lot of big movie shoots. We did Sex and the City. We did Ghostbusters. We did a few a few TV shows. So and then we do big weddings. We did big weddings for some of the socialites around New York City, major banks and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I worked a couple different places. I worked at Union Square events for like a couple months.
oh, you worked in Union Square, nice.
But
Good.
yeah. So
Did you work in? What did you do there? Wait stuff.
no, I'm a pastry chef.
Okay.
So I
Did you know? Oh God, who's the head pastry chef there? He left. Great guy. Shoot. I'm blanking on his name. Oh my God, his wife is Robin.
probably not. I worked there for like a couple months and I got it.
Oh, it was
Like
short.
teaching is like pays way more. So I did that.
And it's a lot less work, that's for sure. Catering's tough. Catering is it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a grind for sure.
Mhm.
So-
Just wait till all of this is done, Vino. You won't be able to stop because everybody's
We'll
going to.
We'll see. I gotta tell you, you're doing this. I've gotten the bug and the itch to like kind of do my own thing now. Not have to go back into that world where you're like working, 7 days a week, late nights, no sleep, on your feet the entire time. It's definitely have got my wheels spinning and kind of turning whatever and thinking like, how can I leverage this whole, my knowledge base to kind of work for myself.
I'd love to take this full time.
Same boat.
Mhm. I think we all would. I think it's part of why we're doing it. Besides just the love and the community and all that stuff that we have for this stuff, it'd be great to leverage this into like a business. I think me and Rob talk about that a lot. Just to be comfortable doing this would be great.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's especially the restaurant industry, like you don't
It's tough.
have
It's
a life
so
outside
hard.
of work,
Yeah, it's so hard. And but the thing is, and me and Rob have these conversations, literally talking about it yesterday. Like, you hear every day about some new guy, the millionaire off of YouTube, and you're like, Jesus Christ, and like you never heard of him, and it's like some random thing, and you're like, it's possible. It's so, and again, we're not talking about becoming millionaires here. We just I want to,
just
make
pay
sure
your
my
bills.
kid, pay my bills, make sure my kid gets what she needs, and everything's good, and I can do this
And
with
like,
the same passion I have now.
In every niche too, like it's I see it in every niche that I follow on YouTube. Like I remember the first one that really, I was just a guy that does like he reviews Marvel movies, like superhero movies. And the day that I was following him for a while, and then one day he did a video and he's like, guys, I just quit my job, I'm doing this full time, so I'm gonna like double the amount of videos I'm putting out there. And when he put out that video, I was just like, damn, this is what I want to do. Like, this is the goal. And like, that's living the dream right there.
Is
doing
your
what you love
Photoshop one monetized yet, or?
It's monetized. Yeah, it's been. I haven't posted. That's why I'm reviving it this month, which is why I've been working on my set. It's been monetized for about 4 years. It still racks in some even though I haven't posted, it racks in some money. So I mean that's pretty decent. So that's why I'm like, I got to get back to it. I was never consistent with it. I'm a lot more consistent in my cocktail videos. So the thing is I've managed to streamline my cocktail videos. I know exactly how I shoot, how I edit. It's very streamlined, so it doesn't take up too much of my time because it's it's not monetized right now. So I can't have it taking up all my time. The Photoshop ones were taking up a lot of time, which is why it kind of like, even though it was monetized, it was making enough to kind of justify the amount of time I was putting into it. So I'm still working on how do I streamline the process. So I've got the cocktail ones figured out. I got to do the Photoshop ones figured out so that I can get back and manage two channels at once. That's going to be the hard part.
I think you're gonna do well.
Thank you.
Because I think
Yeah, I'm
not all
going
the, everyone watching this who's doing their own channel is gonna be like, oh man, Rob knows how to do Photoshop. They're gonna click on
All
the
right, go
link.
check, go subscribe. But you know,
The one
it's different though. I found maybe that's just lack of trying on my part, but there's less of a community. Like I've met more people in the same niche in like 6 months of doing the cocktail videos than 5 years doing the Photoshop videos. I literally haven't met any other people doing the same thing. They're out there, but they seem like maybe unapproachable or they're so big that they're just like, I'm not talking to you.
Well, I
But
feel like
by the virtue of our niche, though, it's a very, cocktails are a social thing.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I think that, we're bringing a sense of joy and community just by what we do, because this is, what people want, especially now with COVID where people aren't able to go out and drink and stuff like that. This is almost like going out to the bar and having a drink with buddies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is why I think you're probably getting a lot more of that. I think it probably already existed, but I think now it's becoming more apparent.
And I think these
No, absolutely.
especially like you said, with COVID, you can't go out and drink with buddies. Another great channel, Alchemix, Carl and Riley,
His wife,
his wife did they do this channel Alchemix, and on New Year's Eve they did a live stream, and I mean it would have been even better if it was like everyone was streaming at the same time, but it was just them. But we were in the chat. I mean, Vino was there. Tim, gotta love Tim Kirkland.
He's a super fan. Tim Kirkland is super.
He follows everyone. He's super fan, super fan number one. But he was there, and we were chatting it up till after till 1 a.m. and on New Year's Eve, and it was so much fun. It was like hanging out with buddies.
No,
I
absolutely.
can't do that right now.
It allows us to keep connected to it in a way that we would maybe not be if we were all out doing our regular thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think if, when it comes to Photoshop, like, do you really watch other people's Photoshop videos? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you usually
So,
people
occasionally.
watching videos, they're trying to figure out. Like, it's probably me trying to figure out how to do something.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm not watching too many other channels unless there's something specific that I don't know. But that's part of it too. Is in cocktails or in like food, any kind of food channel. You see something you like, you subscribe to the channel. You like come back every week is like, hey, I want to know more. But in Photoshop, I find often it's people they find my videos because they're looking for one specific thing. I don't know how to do this. You showed me, thank you, but now I'm out. I don't need to come back. That's all. You gave me what I needed. So you don't get as many of the Tims. You don't get the hardcore fans.
I'm number one.
Yeah, exactly. I think our personalities, we're kind of, it's almost like a mini blog in a way, because we are presenting ourselves too, versus where, I think with a Photoshop tutorial, it's very like, this is what you need to do to get it done. Da, 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 da. But with this, we're trying to infuse a little bit of our, to use the cocktail terminology, to infuse a little bit of our personalities into the cocktails and into the show. So that little piece of it really I think connects with people if in fact you have a personality of any sort. If you don't, they're probably not going to connect. But if you do, and we have a lot of guys with great personalities and gals, it does help to connect with people.
So, Dave, what do you do for a living outside of Booze on the Rocks?
I'm an operations manager for a telecommunications company.
Oh, that's why you're such a good communicator, huh?
No, I had to learn that skill. I was a really good technician at working with my hands. And I became a manager and learned a lot of struggles, and there's a lot of pressure in that industry. And the pressure ramped up when COVID hit. And it was ramping up before COVID anyway, but once COVID hit, the drive was on to keep everybody connected. And a lot of that issue came down to now people are working from home, now they're doing their homeschooling, and they have to have that availability. So more pressure on the managers, on every part of the company to either get new infrastructure out there in whatever form it is to managing your technicians, and they're all over the place and doing what I do. We created a call center out of thin air for some of our guys because the call centers were closing down. So a lot of different wheelhouse, and this has been one of the best outlets I've ever had. And you know what? I talked to Vino, I talked to Rob, I even talked to Steve, the bartender on occasion, and Leandro, and, you know, just slowly, even Peter, you know, it's just people that have the same interests, which are nice outside of work, because I find, and I'm sure everybody does, when you're at work and you're talking to your friends at work, all you're talking about is work, and you don't have that separation, right? So this gives us something that's, and I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. I was not a big drinker before this. Everybody was like, all my friends were, what do you mean you're making a cocktail channel? You don't drink. Well, I do, just not very often. And
but it's funny. It's funny to people that don't understand the, I guess the cocktail, like the hobby, right? You need to get, you know, people think you're just buying. I remember my sister asking my mom at one point when I started getting heavy into cocktails, of buying up new bottles and different. You know, you get into, at first you just have like the basic five, right? You got your like rum, tequila, gin, vodka, whiskey, and then you start discovering all the liqueurs and amaros and all that other crap. And you're buying lots of bottles. And I remember my sister asking my mom at Christmas a couple of years ago, I was like, is Rob an alcoholic? I'm like, no, like I rarely actually get drunk. I just enjoy a drink every day, you know?
well, I asked my wife if I could buy another camera, and she just, because I do everything with one camera that I do, and it's a lot of extra work because of that.
Yeah.
So I asked, can I get another camera? And she said, well, as soon as you get 500 subscribers. Okay, I got 500 subscribers. And then I went, can I get another camera now? And she went, no, you got there faster than I expected to. Which is great. I got there, you know, it's fast, well, a little bit faster than I wanted to, which is perfect. However, I'd like to be able to do things with two cameras. It would just make things so much easier.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm in the same boat.
Well, it's being
you know, when I keep saying once I get monetized, like then we can think about another camera because it's very expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I bought the because I do video productions as my day job. So I've got a lot of equipment, but I bought the GoPro because a couple of years ago. So it's just like, that's so cool. I want a GoPro. I see all the videos of people doing crazy like action shots with GoPros, and I'm like, I want one. And I bought it, and then it just sat on the shelf for like 2 years. I never used it until finally I'm like, it was actually, I don't know if you're familiar with J. Kenji Lopez. He's look him up on, he's a foodie. He's a foodie, but he's like a scientist too. He's really awesome videos, and they're very simple, but he understands like the science behind food. J. Kenji Lopez alt. And anyway, so he's been doing for years, but a lot more since the pandemic. These POV shots. He's got the GoPro, but it's unedited, like just one long thing of him making various food. So I got the idea. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to do a cocktail thing, why not do it point of view? There's not too many guys doing that. But then I'm like, being an editor, I don't want to do a continuous shot because I'm going to screw up. I forget a lot of ingredients. Sometimes I have to go back to my counter and be like, what am I missing? So I want to be able to edit things. So then I got the idea of, okay, let's put, I just use my iPhone for that. Just put the phone on I clamp it to the side of my bar cart.
Yep.
And then now it allows me to have two angles that I can cut back and forth from. And you can shorten the time of a video and make it faster and snappier because you're not walking away or you're having like hard cuts when you can cut back and forth from other angles. It allows you some flexibility in editing. Or if you do something stupid in one take, you can. If I cut to the other angle, you won't see it. You know.
Yes, I'm the king of doing something stupid.
But yours are funny. You got to leave them in.
Well, I do. That's why if I don't leave them in the direct thing, I put them all at the end in my video because I cannot speak English, which is my first language. And I really struggle at flipping cocktails and stuff like that because I have dropped a few things and broken a few things.
I've been wanting to try your little flip the thing for a few times. I don't have the guts to do it. I guess if you get a good seal on it, you're fine. But oh god, I've seen you drop it at least once. But
I've had a couple of good seals, and the whole thing still come apart.
Which is why I'm not.
How do you break the
eager
seal
to try it
when
out.
you're stuck? That's my question. when I was doing my cocktail the other day, the shaker, like it was so stuck together, like
Is it a 3-piece or like a Boston?
Boston.
Okay, well, Boston. I just give it a good smack and it comes apart. I had one like through the 3-piece shaker. I have one of those, and it's the one I used when I'm at the cottage. But that one, it's impossible to undo. It's so annoying. It's a crappy one. It's not like a very good, like Vino. You got like that awesome.
The vacuum seal one. I like that one. I should get one.
That one, elevated craft. It's what I love about it is that screws. Yeah. It's so unbelievable. It's double wall. Never gets too cold. I mean, honestly, I can't. My boss is shaker saying that I haven't used this since I bought it. Since I bought this thing, it's tremendous. It really is.
The only reason I use the Boston shaker with the glass is because of my side angle. I like to see the liquid going into.
Yeah, that's what I use. That's what I use. My close-ups.
Both of you guys film with the glass. Yeah.
I like to see the liquid. I remember. I remember the second video I ever filmed, which actually I ended up scrapping, so I never.
Those things, forget about it. Because
I think I have the same one. That's the one.
Once it expands, it's forget about it. It's what they call.
You can't.
I got 2 of these from family members. This one, actually, when you pop it out, has recipes on it. However, I have never once used them because I tried it once. Once it's sealed up, and I couldn't get the top off. Like this is just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Never use it again.
That's not.
Yeah, with the Boston though,
my kids.
with the Boston though, you just give a good smack on the side, and
or what David says, hit it with the smack it with the strength of 1,000.
Strength of 1,000 suns.
I thought I was gonna break it. I was like, because the other one is glass. But
if David hasn't broken it yet,
I just have an idea.
Yes.
Speaking of, I was thinking about the Mr. Boston cookbook. Because not cookbook, cocktail book, because that's like how I started bartending stuff. In pastry school, I was friends with restaurant management kids, and they all had the Mr. Boston is like the classic cocktail book that you start from.
Never heard of that one.
I've
never heard of that one.
They have a website too.
Really? Well, anyway. I was thinking it would be cool. We're making all these playlists to make, some money to monetize some stuff. You could make a cookbook on each playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I've definitely thought of that.
Or even because you guys going to do this every month, right?
The challenge? That's the idea. We'll see if people get too annoyed with it. We've gotten I gotta say we've gotten less submissions in this one than the Christmas one. Hopefully I think Christmas burnt some people out. Georgie from Just Shake or Stir, he did his 25 cocktails to Christmas. And he stuck to it. He did a cocktail a day from
every single day,
December 1st to Christmas.
And then he ran away to the woods and said, "I've had enough."
He stuck to it. He did great, but I think it burnt him out. He's been a little more. He's still releasing, but he's had less.
It is hard.
We talk about that a lot, though. Like how many, because so many people came in. If you look at most of the not most, but a lot of the new guys that started, including myself. It started because of COVID, right? So you needed something to do, or you decided to transfer your skills to whatever. Will there be like this kind of tail off of people after a while? We've already seen some kind of go away.
We've seen a few go away, and hopefully we don't lose. I mean, I like to support everyone, right? I mean, I definitely don't have that. And it's easy to get into this and think and have the mentality of you guys are my competition. But I definitely don't have that. We're all in this together. We're all growing together. And so it's sad when you see some guys leave. When I started, actually before meeting any of you guys, within the first month of me starting, so I only had like 2 videos on. There was this one guy I met, and it was an Italian kid doing cocktails. And so I'd comment on all of his videos. He'd comment on mine. We were not collaborating, but like we were engaging back and forth for about a month. And then around August, he just kind of tailed away. And it was kind of sad. I was like, because he started around the same time I did. I think almost like our first videos were only like a week apart. I was like, dude, you got to stick with it. It's not going to happen that fast.
It's twofold. What are people's expectations? You know, they think monetization is going to happen quickly. They think, oh, I'm popular with my friends. And I've got a great personality. Well, everyone just attached to me. I'm going to have 1,000 followers in a couple of months. That's not realistic. And also, I think some people are going back to work. And, you realize that this does involve a lot of time. I'm not working right now, obviously, because my industry's been shut down. But I already find that it's time consuming. So I can imagine someone like David or Rob who are working. And the amount of time that it consumes in their daily events.
My videos right now, because I edit. I don't know why I decided this. I decided, I shoot in 4K 60 frames per second, which I decided mainly because I have heard that the YouTube algorithm prefers higher resolution videos. I don't know if it helps me, but I'm sticking with it. But I shoot 4K, and my computer at the moment was state of the art in 2015. so it's not anymore. And yeah, when I do my color grading, like my edit with my effects and my color grading and everything, so I do my color pass and I go to edit and I go to render that. It's not rendering my final video, just my color pass. It takes about 8 to 10 hours.
Do you have a video on that? Because I have no idea what that is.
Not yet, but I will be doing that. But
depends on which program you're using. And
so color grading is basically I go in and I just, because whenever you shoot, sometimes your colors are not the greatest. So I go in and I just make sure that I go into the hue and saturation and color balance, and I make sure everything looks as best as I can. Usually I add a little bit of sharpness too, so make everything look nice and crisp. But that too. Yeah. So I render that, and then that chunk takes about 8 or 10 hours. So I try. Again, like I said, I've streamlined it, so I do that. So I set it overnight, so it renders overnight. So the next morning, I get to finish the video and do my final render, and the final render only takes about an hour, so that's not bad.
Right.
But I mean, I am due for a computer upgrade, hopefully this year, and that should, because there's the other thing is my computer at the moment is 16 gigs of RAM, which again was state of the art back in 2015. To properly edit 4K, you should have at least 32 gigs of RAM. So I'm not even halfway there.
And there are spots where your system will chug still, even with that. Because I upgraded my system when I got in because my computer couldn't render at all. It just died outright the moment I tried rendering something. So new pieces of computer. Still can't figure out why I'm really slow in certain areas where it just chugs and crashes and now you can't even find hardware because it's all sold out because of COVID.
Yeah.
I do everything off of an iPad. I film on my iPhone, and then I edit on my iPad. I use LumaFusion, which is pretty close to Premiere for an app. I use Filmic Pro to film, which is a really great filming application. And I tell you, I mean, maybe because it's all kind of done, through one kind of ecosystem, everything processes so quickly. Even color correction, anything like that, just happens really quickly. So, I mean, I'm glad I'm not using a computer because I'm not trying to upgrade right now. Definitely not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good, and you're able to do something more on the fly. Like for me, if we had like an idea for a video and we want to release it tomorrow, it's not happening.
Yeah. Exactly. And I could film, and edit, and upload like 4 films in one day. I'll do that sometimes. Well, I'll film Monday and Tuesday, and just like 2, maybe 3 cocktails a day, and then have all 6 edited because I have everything's kind of streamlined for me too. And then I just have it all uploaded and ready to go. So I've got like through February pretty much already up on YouTube, ready to fly.
Nice. Yeah, I'm about I mean, not edited. Obviously, editing takes more time, but I'm about 10 videos in shot. So what I do is I as long as I've got my ingredients and I've got my my list, and I'll set some time because I'm also using natural lighting for my bar, which winter is.
And you don't use any lights?
No, I don't use no lights. I'm using all natural because my bar is right against my patio window.
Yeah.
So it's all natural light. So I have to shoot between 12 and 4 is my ideal shooting time. Before that, I could shoot before that. It's just too early. Who wants to drink at 10? I guess it's fine, but after 4, the sun actually sets in my backyard, so I get really harsh light inside. And then if you look at my second video ever, it was the Queen's Park Swizzle, and especially the side angle is fine. It's beautifully lit and everything, but the top view, it just goes like super bright, then super dark, super bright, super dark. Because I've got harsh light coming in, and every time I kind of look up, it gets bright, and then it goes, and it just darkens as you look down. And I remember and I can't see what that's shooting, right? Like I look at it on my phone because I control the GoPro with my phone. So I see, okay, I line up the shot before I start shooting, and then hit record. Then I put the phone there to record the rest, the other angle. So I don't see what that's recording. So it's basically you do it, and then when you upload to the computer, you go, oh shit, it didn't work out. Got to reshoot that one. That hasn't happened too many. There was one that I scrapped. One video was scrapped. It was actually Moscow Mule, and I scrapped it. And I'm glad I did, because my side angle, because I'm using a copper mug, it couldn't see anything.
No.
So for that one, I actually want to get a kind of a higher view and see me kind of dropping the stuff in the glass.
Yep.
Reshoots, man. Reshoots are just reshoots in general. Or like, oof. Again, mine, I pretty much can bang mine out because, again, I don't script it. I just kind of go with it and stuff like that. But because of that, sometimes I'm not satisfied with my energy, or, kind of just the way I went about things and stuff. And I'm like, shit, I got to do this over again. I'm not going to keep this, So it's like, it's not a waste of a cocktail because I drank it, but it
gets expensive.
It feels like a waste of energy and stuff also, too.
It's a waste of energy, a waste of time, and it gets expensive after a while. If you make
It
two
does,
or three cocktails, you realize that now our pricing is a little bit different than it is down in New York.
Yeah, New York's not cheap, my friend.
The cost of a bottle is $28 for a bottle of gin, to $100 for something decent.
Especially if it's a cocktail that maybe it wasn't the greatest, or like it took a lot of different ingredients, and you're like, oh, I really want to do this again. And sometimes you just throw it out, being like, whatever. No, I don't think anyone's gonna unsubscribe because this wasn't my best video.
No, and I mean, and like I've made videos. I've made a few cocktails that I didn't like, and you just be honest with it. I'm not going to finish every video by going, "This is amazing, make it."
Wait, dude.
Like I'll tell people, like, "Yeah, I didn't like this one. You can try it if you want, but I thought it was crap."
Yeah. I think all of us are pretty honest. I think you saw my Long Island iced tea video. I
like Long Island. I don't know. It's the fun drink to just throw together and yeah. Although I prefer the Texas tea, where you swap the Cointreau for bourbon. Yeah. And the bourbon just gives it an extra. And I upped it, like instead of doing equal parts, I give a little more bourbon, and it just, I don't know, it adds just a nicer something to it.
Fucked up. That's what's happening.
That's
the problem with me. My connection with the cocktail is the 90s nightclubs and getting destroyed. And so like it just like it all comes back to me. When I tried it on the show, it was the first time I had one since 2000 maybe, and I mean the minute I started pouring it, I could smell it, and I was like, it started making me nauseous. I swear. Oh, yeah. And
I think your thumbnail is you going like, ugh.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, this is not going to be good. And I could see the appeal. I mean, I drank them, right? They're like going to get you smashed, and that's what you want to do when you're young. You want to get smashed on as few drinks as possible. And they're sweet if that's your thing. And for me, I come and go with sweet. It's just the memories are just too tough for me. People on the flip side, like the pina colada, right? When I drink a pina colada, it takes me to the most happiest place on earth, because I've only ever had them in Puerto Rico, sitting on the beach and stuff. And
who doesn't like a pina colada?
It just takes me there, So I mean, the cocktails have that effect when they've been part of your life for some reason or another.
What was the first alcoholic beverage you ever had?
Mine was Long Island iced tea. Yeah.
Mine was beer.
It's the first cocktail. No, it's the first cocktail I ever had. The first alcoholic I ever had was a 40 ounce, an oldie back in the days. Oh, yeah. I used to be a homeboy back in the days. I used to be a homeboy, guys. Believe it or not. So mine was, so I had a 40 ounce with my homies, and we got destroyed off of that. And I remember it was a super snowy day in New York, back when it used to snow like Canada in New York. And I mean, it was about 5 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches, I can't remember. But we went to the bodega, and we all got ourselves a 40, and we just hung out in the snow drinking, and it was awesome. It was the coolest thing to get twisted in the snow with my buddies.
I think the first cocktail I ever had was a pre-mixed Long Island iced tea.
What?
Those pre-mixed.
A pre-mixed Long Island. So you can.
I think I know the exact bottle you're talking about. So
I drank that for a cocktail. For a cocktail, so we drank where I drank 3/4 of the bottle,
Oh,
a standard
God.
40, not thinking about anything. And I had been sick recently. Resulting walk home from where I was not a good experience, as I recounted in the video when I made this, because I destroyed the neighbor's bush. But I think the very first alcoholic drink I ever had was Molson Export. And I was like 12, 13 years old. And at the time it was like, yeah. So
I remember my first alcoholic beverage was not the first alcoholic beverage, but the first one I enjoyed. Because I remember, it was beer, but I remember occasionally when I was young tasting my dad's beer and going, oh, that's gross. But the first one, it was actually after my black belt exam. And, you have 6 hours of sweating and throwing guys down. And I was underage then, but I forget who it was, but someone came along, it was like, guys, you guys did so well today. Here's a case. And I don't even remember. I think it might have been Molson Export. I don't know what it was. I forget what it was, but it was the most, because 6 hours of sweating and pain. It was the most delicious thing I've ever had, because of the moment. This was probably not a good beer, but in the moment, it was just like, wow, oh my god, that's refreshing. First cocktail. I don't know. Does rum and cokes even count as cocktails? I mean, definitely started clubbing at the ripe old age of 18. Rum and cokes were big. I wasn't a big fan of those, but I really enjoyed rye and ginger. Those, more flavor to it. Rum and coke is just Coke with this little underlying thing of rum, but rye and ginger has, the ginger ale has just more flavor. It feels like more of a cocktail. And then you got a little lime on top. I really liked rye and gingers. And then my first kind of more than 2 ingredient cocktail would have been a Tom Collins. And those are awesome.
And my first cocktail, my go-to cocktail, that's what Raul, that's what Vino, whatever drinks, was a gin and tonic. And I used to get that everywhere I went. It was just, if I grew up a big Rat Pack guy, big Sinatra guy, D Martin guy. So gin and tonic was big with them and stuff like that. So it always just kind of gave me that vibe. And I used to go to a lot of jazz bars too. And so that was just a cool drink to have, and just sit back and watching, Wynton Marsalis and stuff like that come perform. One of the cool things about New York City is that you can go to a regular jazz bar, and here comes some famous jazz musician or singer, and they're just kind of jamming out with the regular folks and stuff, and it's super cool. I mean, obviously that's not happening right now, but it's one of the beauties of New York.
I'm kind of glad none of you said screwdriver.
No.
Technical difficulties. Switching to my phone.
Sneaking into Leandro's bar and then making a drink. It's doable. It's all you need is a green screen, and then
just pretend you're grabbing stuff off his shelf, make your drink, and then walk out with a cocktail, and he doesn't even notice.
Or you can if you do a Star Trek transporter effect, and then materialize at his bar, and then when he's not there, and then make yourself a drink and head out.
I need more time to learn editing. It's just one of the things I don't have the time to do. Great.
Well, that's what I like to add into mine because I've got that video editing background. I love adding those special effects and stuff. So
you always got some cool effects.
Well, my recent one, have you seen in the end of my I like to put my dog
getting shot by Star Wars. That one?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I had fun doing that. Yeah, I put my dog at the end of every video, and then I'm trying to find new exciting exciting adventures to have him do.
I do think that and Rob, we were talking about this too, not becoming just evergreen content. How do we kind of do stuff that's just very organic but for the moment, that feels fresh and kind of engaging at the same time, because it is right now literally just tutorials, right? Just literally tutorials. And that's great. Obviously, it's been working so far, even at different scales, but it's working. But I think when you see the true successes on just looking at Greg, Greg has gone beyond the tutorial, right? He's become a pop culture channel now, and I think that's been working for him really well. he like skyrocketed recently. You know, he was already obviously growing very, very big and stuff because there was a lot less channels at that time. But once he became much more of a pop culture kind of guy, I mean, that guy's been like, he could make 25-minute, 30-minute videos because he goes into this larger picture thing that people really seem to be engaging with.
That's kind of the hard thing on YouTube, I find is on the one hand, like being in video marketing, I've always told my clients, you know, short, punchy videos. If you can't give if you can't say your message in under 1 minute, what are you doing? But then YouTube comes along and goes, no, we want long videos because we want watch time. So make them over 10 minutes. So I find it's hard because on the one hand, I want to make my videos punchy so that people watch the whole damn thing. But then I'm like, well, then I'm getting less view time. It's a hard.
You don't want to lose people because they're not attached to you yet. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I mean, who's punchier than me? 60-second cocktails, right? Like my videos are average 5 to 8 minutes, the longest. And you know I have a lot more to say and whatnot, but I worry that those videos are going to lose people, you know, because you're taught that, hey, even you know, YouTube might say do this, but when you listen to a lot of these, you know, YouTube kind of influencer guys, like, you know, Brad G. Johnson, whatever his name is, and people like
Brian
that.
G. Johnson,
Nick
Nimitz
and stuff. They're like in and out, get your point across, you know, and so you get that kind of gets in your head when you're doing your stuff, and you're not thinking of it while you're filming necessarily, but it's
those guys though. It's hard to I bet it's hard to translate some of their tactics to what we're doing.
It doesn't overlap. It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Because them, it's marketing, right? They're like, they come on, they're like, I'm going to show you how to get more views in under 5 minutes. Stick around to the end, and you're going to see something awesome tips. Like, how do you do that here? Like, stick around to the end, or else you're not going to know how to make this cocktail.
You just gotta go around the end, or you're not gonna. You should start something with the dog. You're not gonna find out till the end.
That's not a bad idea.
Leandro changed his format. You know, he went into the whole education portion first, and he found that people were complaining. You know, he was losing subscribers. So now he does the cocktail first, and then if you stick around, you get whole story of it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I like that. You know, and it's definitely something I think could work in our niche, you know, to larger.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do is like, if my format is like, I introduce the cocktail, I've got maybe 5 seconds to give a small history, and then I'm right into making it, and then I give tasting notes while I do my little B-roll, funky shots, and then I got my dog at the end. That's my format. But definitely switching it up might make sense. You know, maybe don't go into too much history at the beginning, even though like 5 seconds is not too much, but keep the history for at the end. And then maybe put the dog at the beginning or in the middle or something, you know,
and I don't necessarily think that even the history of the cocktail is always that important. It could be, you could make, you know, going back to what Greg does is, you know, maybe get into kind of a pop culture topic and talk about this cocktail in relation to something pop culture, or just bring up something, you know, like you want to talk about. You know, I think that having that kind of, because, you know, I think one of the things that I personally find really important in my culture, my cocktail experience, and that's missing here, is that we don't do the come for the drink, stay for the company. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that here. We come for the drink and we just kind of leave. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that there's a portion of the community that would stick around. I think guys like Tim and Trevor and people who not other niche guys, not other creators. These are fans. I think they'd stick around here as kind of talk the shit. You know what I'm saying?
We made him for our Christmas Martini challenge. We made Tim make a video. And I'm quite proud of that.
He did pretty good too.
He did. So like, and then for, like I mentioned earlier, Alchemix doing their live stream on New Year's Eve, and they did another one on New Year's Day, and Tim was there for both, and well, so was I. But and Vino was there too. But I mean, that community, it was so much fun.
I do think we've talked about this, Rob, is like trying to do more like this live.
Yeah. And live streaming like this in this format, but also live streaming. I've been looking into, is it OBS? It's online broadcasting. It's a free software that allows you to do this, like Zoom calls, but then add some cool designs over it, so we can put like everyone's logo on it, and then stream it on YouTube. So it's live. So not only have you have the live people, but you can have the people live doing the live chatting.
Oh, there's another thing like that. One of my other channel people I'm going to be interviewing, Karen, she said it's called StreamYard, but it's cool because you can put it on YouTube. You can put it on Facebook. You can put it on all the platforms at the same time.
Oh, nice.
So
That's good.
I'm going to check that out because
StreamYard, you said?
StreamYard, yeah, it's got like a duck, like the logo.
And that's another way I think.
I haven't heard
really
that one. I've heard of OBS, but definitely one of those because I think in 2021 that's why we want to start doing a lot more live streams and engage a lot more people in the community and have just like
because I think you could
parties
around the because you can live stream on YouTube from like your mobile device, but you can, from your laptop you go through StreamYard. It doesn't recognize, so you can just do it from whatever, which is what I was looking at it for. But I think a live stream would be cool. I was just thinking it would probably be a cool challenge to like do some sort of like use what you got as like a live stream, like with
I was like, you just got one person's got to host it, and then everyone just join, and we can do a different group people. We do it so once a month or a bi-weekly thing.
You can touch on a different topic. You start on a topic.
Start on a topic. It organically goes at other places.
Yeah. But people listen. Going back to Dave, right? You said you started Common Man Cocktails, right? That you saw three guys kind of just being silly and having fun, and that helped. That made you interested in doing this, And I think that's the community that we're in. We're a social group, right? We want to engage with people that way. And I think honestly, if we did a live stream, just us three and a bunch of your subscribers, my subscribers, they'll all want to stick around just to hear us talk and talk amongst each other and stuff like that. I really think that I'm very confident things like that are what we need to continue to grow the channels individually and also as a community.
Well, yeah, they say like do all these short, like in your face things, but then you look at Joe Rogan is the most successful podcaster ever right now, and his videos are 3 hours long and half of them are talking about nonsense just like we are. So
I mean, I follow this I don't watch their live streams because I can only take so much, but I mean I follow guys in like the superhero movie niche and Star Wars niche, and they do these live streams last like 3 hours. And I don't, like I said, I'm a fan, I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm a superhero movie fan, but not that much. I'm not sticking around for 3 hour podcast to listen to
but
guys
they
argue
only
about.
They only need you to stick around for a little while to get the algorithm.
But you watch the live chat go, and it's just like. And people they're doing the super chat where you actually have to pay to get your chat up higher. And you see the super chats going like $20, $10, $5, $20. I'm like, holy shit. This is where the money's at.
Yeah. Those super chats are definitely, there's another thing. Have you guys had this yet? One of my YouTube friends has it. It's called Tip or something like that. Or there's a new thing now where you can actually basically like tip them right through YouTube. You're not through like Patreon or something like that.
Does it have? Is it like? Is it direct to them, or is that only? I've seen that done, but it was for charity. Like
no, it's right. It's a new.
It's directed to them.
Yeah, it's like right next to the subscribe button. It's
Why not?
Tip or something like that. I can't remember.
I think I've seen it, but theirs was specifically like the live stream was a fundraiser for a charity.
No, this guy is just a regular dude. I don't know how he has it, and he only has like 1,500 subscribers. I do cocktails for his channel every so often. He has like a Las Vegas channel and stuff. Oh, nice. And so so he has this option, and he said they just kind of gave it to him, and it's because they're kind of trialing it right now. I don't think that.
That might be what it is. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I mean, that's a great thing to have. Like
well, and it's good.
People have bleeding hearts, believe it or not, and they'll kind of, hey, if I can give this guy $1, just thank you. There are some, I know like Stefan, I know he's a big contributor to Steve, the bartender and stuff. There are guys out there that,
that's what's great about, was it one of these content creator gurus guys was talking a lot. Remember back in a couple months ago, YouTube, like completely died for like 4 hours.
Remember that? Yeah.
I thought I was panicking. I thought my channel, because it was I was logged out. I mean, okay, usually I'm always logged in, but it logged me out. I tried logging in, and it was like, this user does not exist. I'm like,
Now, I remember you DM'd me like panicking, like, no,
I wasn't panicking. I thought it
it's
just
over for me,
completely.
man.
I thought it wiped
my
my.
video didn't upload.
Yeah, and even Steve the bartender was doing a live stream, and it just like,
Yes, he was
got
on the
him.
live stream. That's right. That's
and
right.
yeah, and I thought my channel was just gone. And so I was in a panic mode, and it came back. And then shortly after, a small content creator, a guy who does like these like how to make it in YouTube, he made a video shortly after that, and it was like, what would you do if YouTube suddenly crashed, suddenly died for good? And it's like, are you branching out, or are you niched in YouTube? And that's an interesting topic. That's why you can't just, you got to be on Instagram. You got to be. I recently got onto TikTok. I said I never would, but I'm on TikTok. I hate TikTok, but hey, you got to do it,
man. But but this is going back to what I was saying about not like necessarily going back into my industry. Like, David was like, hey, Raul, Tim, Vino, whatever. When it's over, the COVID's over, things are going to be crazy again for you. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, if I could find ways to branch out and like really expand the brand, I mean, ultimately that's what we all want. And I have that opportunity right now because I'm not working. So I can spend most of my time focused on that. I mean, I'm homeschooling my daughter, which because right now because of COVID and stuff, but I still have enough time to do it. And if I can make that happen, I definitely think that's the way to go. Because YouTube, what if YouTube doesn't last forever? It probably will. I don't think Google's going anywhere, but it's still, you want to.
I think of all, yeah. I mean, it's right. You definitely have of all the social media. I think the two that are sticking is Facebook and YouTube. Yeah. Twitter, I think, is on its way out.
I think Twitter's dead, dude.
I think Twitter's dying.
And honestly, now with like, the Donald Trump, like not being president and stuff, it's going to be less people engaging on Twitter because, he was people followed him, right? They want to see what he's going to say next. But now that he's gone, he's going to have less of a presence. I really honestly think the channel doesn't know who's our guy, who's our marquee guy right now. You know what I mean? It was already dying, and I think it's just kind of like ready to go. People are visual too. I don't think they don't want to see just words. They want to see.
No, I mean it was an interesting concept when it started. Like quick little snappy 140 character things. I was big into Twitter when it first started. But now people are more visual. Yeah, I mean.
But people don't. We also didn't have the technology really to kind of what Instagram does, which is put up low res photos.
Even
quickly,
like TikTok. Like I told you I'm amazed at the editing capabilities of the TikTok, of the in-app editor for TikTok. I'm like, I can do full-on editing right in the freaking app. Yeah. Only a minute long, but like, holy crap, this is incredible.
I can't believe how TikTok took off. It's amazing how it took off, and it's been something I really want to kind of get into more. But I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard to be on so many different platforms.
Well, I mean, like Snap, and look at Snapchat went.
I think that's exactly.
And then it went. It was huge. At one point, it was like, dude, if you're not on Snapchat, what are you doing? You got to get on Snapchat. And then a year later, it was dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that can happen with TikTok. Facebook owns Instagram, so that's not going anywhere, and Google owns YouTube. This is not going anywhere. But TikTok could disappear anytime now. Unless Microsoft buys it or something. You know what I'm saying? But it's possible that can happen. Something controversial can happen, which is very possible with all those underage girls on there and stuff. So that's anything's possible. Yeah, man. And all the political crap that's on there too.
I've noticed because TikTok is all about just swiping by videos. And swiping, that's cool. Oh, that's inappropriate. That's cool. That's cool. Whoa, what is this? So yeah.
it's a lot of like ridiculous political stuff and young women, and it's just not appealing to me personally.
No, it's not.
Not in that format. And so for me, it's just like,
I'm trying to stick to the cocktail stuff and see who's on there, who's doing that on there, and
a lot of our guys are not. That's the funny part about it. It's really an entirely different community of cocktail people. I can't outside of Vlad, none of the big guys are doing it, and very few of us are doing it.
But even Vlad, he's found that it's not his cocktails.
He's not even doing cocktails.
He's not doing cocktails. He just does ice. He does ice sculpting.
That's all he does. He does ice sculptures. It's hysterical.
He grabs these big blocks of clear ice and he sculpts like an iPhone out of it. And he's like, haha, iPhone.
That's it. He doesn't do any cocktails on it. He's got 6 million followers on it, and that's his focus now. That's his
TikTok audience. On YouTube, it's cocktails, but on TikTok, he does ice.
And TikTok monetizes, so it's like it's smart for him to do that.
How do you
monetize quicker than YouTube does?
Is it monetized?
Yeah.
How do you monetize on TikTok?
I don't know how, but it is because a buddy of mine has a hip hop TikTok, and he gets money on it.
Fuck.
Yeah. Like,
I gotta start learning to ice sculpt.
I don't have time for another hobby.
I know, man. That's why, honestly, I think you have to look at YouTube as a way of marketing.
I'll just use my little. I'll use my little ice balls and I'll make little emoji faces out of them.
That'll actually go fast.
you could do some bar fight techniques with your cocktails, your jiu-jitsu and your cocktails.
Bar fight. You know what? Years ago, I had an idea for when we were still looking for me and my like troupe of martial arts actors. We had an idea for a short film to film in a bar and do like a bar fight, but have like do some flair bartending and then like smash bottles of people's faces and stuff. And I'd found it online. I found a guy who could make candy glass. So if you're familiar with candy glass, it's what they use in movies. Whenever you smash glass on a person's face, it's basically glass but made of sugar. So it breaks. It still hurts. If you've never been hit with it, it still hurts. But it's not like real glass. It won't cut you. It might. But anyways, but they can basically recreate any bottle made of candy glass. So you can get a bottle of of your favorite whiskey and make candy glass, and you can smash it over someone's face. So yeah, I wanted to do something like that. So that was years ago. I had this idea, and I knew a friend back then who did kind of bar flair, and taught me a few kind of moves. I've never really practiced them. Although I do a lot of like weapons. Like if you see me with a bow staff, I can do some pretty cool stuff with a bow staff or a sword. So I feel like I could easily translate that to bar flair. I just never really practiced it, but that's something that I don't know. I might revisit. Now that I'm doing the bar stuff, I might revisit that idea.
Whenever I do like cooking videos, like especially when it comes to butchery, I'm always thinking about like when I was spatchcocking the chicken and then like breaking down the chicken, I was like, well, then you arm bar the chicken and you pop out this joint.
Yep. Yeah. Give it a twist here, pull down, yank, and just watch it somersault over your shoulder.
One of my favorite new cooking channels, the guy, he seems to not be, he might be big on YouTube. I haven't seen him, but he's big on Facebook. But he's an Australian kid who's like a heavy metal kid who does these cooking channels, cooking videos, but he's so vulgar. But he's got, his niche is just like extreme vulgarness in what he does. But it's great. It's hilarious to watch.
Yeah. So he wouldn't succeed on YouTube anyway. I don't think YouTube had like strict monetization rules, right? Like I don't think you could be vulgar like that and stuff. Right?
Maybe
you have to have. I'm pretty sure they look at your content before they monetize it.
I don't know. I've been pretty strict on not swearing on my channel, but I've seen a couple of you guys, not maybe not you guys, but a couple other.
I had a cocktail.
I've sworn a couple. I've sworn a couple of times and try really hard not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But haven't had any trouble with monetization or YouTube?
No, it doesn't. It's not supposed to happen within, I think, the first minute of the video, based on their monetization rules, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
like.
So
once they make
a certain time frame, because the algorithm kicks in and listens to your video for anything.
I was planning on doing this summer. I was planning on doing the AMF and starting the video, which is me going "Adios, motherfucker." So I shouldn't do that. Is what you're saying?
Well, you can do it. Yeah, you might not want to monetize that one.
I had 2 cocktails with the word "fucking" it, guys.
I hate that censorship because like it doesn't matter what you say. It's what's your intent? And
that's the thing, exactly. In the context of the way it was used.
Yeah, like in New York, like fuck is not a curse word.
It's not. No. It's not.
It drives me nuts because it's like
fuck is barely a curse word. It really honestly doesn't feel like anything when you hear it. It's like
it's gone so
common.
So mainstream.
So common, yeah.
Yeah. And if you ban the curse words, then they're just gonna get replaced with new curse words because it's about intent. It's not about fudge. The word, you know.
I mean, you can say a lot worse things without cursing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's true. Just
Yeah,
depends on how creative you want to be.
I wonder if they censor in like other languages too. They probably do.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Do they censor in French? Rob, do they censor in French?
Sacre bleu. I don't think so.
No, they may not. They've stopped putting
Sacre
up
bleu.
What was
the
it?
automated, what do you call it? The automated captions. They've stopped doing that now.
Oh, have they?
Oh, really?
Some of them were terrible though.
Yeah, no. But it was
I
easy
kept-
for people who
Because on my Photoshop channel, my company's name is IMX Productions. So like I would always say, hey, I would just start by like saying, hey, Rob Baldwin here, IMX Productions, and then in the caption I would say IMAX. I'm like, no, I'm not IMAX. That's not me.
the next best thing.
It's like they're getting free publicity here.
But that was I guess that was just like for the handicap and whatnot, right? I mean, I have to imagine. Like, I don't think I want to request it.
What I found though is, and I use I'm subscribed for like I put a lot of music on my videos, and I'm subscribed to this. It's artlist.io.
Yep, same here. That's what I use now.
Okay, you nice. And I've never had trouble with their music, but my Photoshop channel and my like a lot of my filmmaking that I did back like way back when. It was a place called shockwavesound.com, and it wasn't a subscription that you had to actually buy the song. And I bought I spent a lot of money on music there, but those songs always get flagged. It's still today. Like I have videos I've put on 10 years ago that I'll suddenly log into my other account, and it's like, oh, your video just got flagged for using copyrighted music. And I have a script that I saved in my files that I just put that on. It's like, no, I have purchased this music. I own the rights to use it on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. And then I send that in, and then I always win. I win the dispute.
Have you guys ever looked at the YouTube studio? Because that's all I use. I use the same song for every video because it's so low in the background anyway. It's just a jazz song. But have you ever looked into their stuff? I mean, it's not bad. Man.
I've used a few, but no, I tend to stick to Artlist is fantastic.
Yeah,
and it's artlist.io, and it's one. I think it was like
one payment a year, and you can use whatever music on there.
How much is it? Like, it's not that bad. It's like $100 a year or something like that, or maybe a little more.
Well, it's more than that if I remember correctly, but
Because it's free.
But anyways, it's like one payment a year, and you get to use all of their music. And I mean, for Christmas it was great. There was like a whole bunch of Christmas music. I was like, awesome. I remember looking in. When I was starting to plan my Christmas videos back in like September, October, I was like, what music am I going to use? I need like jingle bells and shit. And then I looked on Artlist. I'm like, found so much like originals or remakes of classics. And
I gotta tell you guys,
great.
YouTube Studio had a lot of cool stuff too, man. It was all free, you know. I mean, because I had Storyblocks originally. I think it is Storyblocks.
Yeah, I've heard of them too.
Yeah, and it was great, but I was like, I don't feel good paying for music that is not commercial. Like, if I'm going to pay for music, I might as well be like, Frank Sinatra. You know what I'm trying to say? So, like, if I'm not paying for that, then I'm just paying for, like, indie music or something like that. I'm just going to use this free stuff. I don't know. I just didn't feel the selection that I was using was that much better than YouTube Studio. But I don't know what you guys. I mean, obviously, your selection is probably pretty
Artlist is good. I definitely like it.
Good.
I've been on it for about a year, and
there's another one that everybody else recommends too. I can't remember the name of it. That seems to be the one everyone really goes to.
Epidemic.
That one. Yeah.
What was that?
Epidemic Sound.
Oh yes. Okay.
It's the same style of thing. I used a free for use in your vlogs sound from my first 100 videos probably. Mm-hmm. And I got a little leery because all of a sudden people were getting copy strike, and I was like, I've got everything.
That was happening.
I've got something in the bottom of my video that says at this link, buy this permission, and I just kind of went. And then that guy's channel disappeared, but it was taken over by somebody else who was still offering. So that's why I changed my music.
Yeah, that was happening to me in Storyblocks also, and that's part of the reason I changed too. It was like, this is getting frustrating.
Yeah, I was afraid that I would all of a sudden lose 100 videos overnight and be like, oh.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Well, that's what, like I said, like I used to use Shockwave Sound. I still to this day get copyright strikes from it. But I've got a standard standard kind of dispute script that I use, and I send that in every time it happens. But it is annoying. And the problem with YouTube too, and that my channel's monetized, is while you're in dispute,
You don't make any money.
the copyright owner gets your money.
No way! Wow.
It's not even being held. It literally reverts to them. And this is a problem with big people, especially people in the entertainment industry, like the movie review industry. Whenever if you review a movie and you want to put scenes from that movie in your video, that falls within fair use because you're doing a critique. So you're allowed to use, I think it's like up to 30-second take, like clips of 30 seconds. You can't use like simultaneous, like show like 5 minutes of the movie. But if you're using little 30-second clips and you're critiquing the movie, that falls within fair use. But what happens is these big, and this was a huge, there was a huge like uprising a couple of years ago about this. I don't know if YouTube's done anything, but these big production houses were doing this thing where they were basically flagging all these channels that do review videos, and that knowing they'll lose the dispute, but it'll take about 10 days to lose that dispute. And in the meantime, they're stealing all their friggin' revenue.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
They still do it. There's Sony Music has an entire branch devoted.
Oh yeah, I get flagged by Sony all the time. It's horrible. Yeah.
So one of the things that I get flagged for was, I also wrote a book on marijuana, but I did a Stokie video, and I made it like CBD, so that's like legal in all 50 states. So, but YouTube still didn't like it, and they flagged it that they are only going to show it to. It's only going to come up to people 18 and older that are signed into YouTube.
Yep.
And wondering how could they do that for me, but for all these bartending channels where you got to be 21 in the US to do it.
Do we get flagged for that?
Yes. You have to actually put yourself as 18 or older. You may have done it once and then just completely forgotten about it because it applies to every video.
I've dabbled in a few YouTube ads. I've dabbled in a few YouTube ads, and it has come up as your video will only be shown because you do alcohol content. Your video will only be shown to people signed in over 21.
Have you seen like huge drops in? Because I feel like a lot of people just aren't signed in. You know?
Maybe, I don't know. Not necessarily.
I honestly don't think there's a huge drop. If you look at the analytics to any of your videos, which they can sort of track the age groups, I think I fall between 26 to 35 seems to be my biggest age group for some reason. And then it drops incrementally down there.
That's funny, eh?
Well, yeah, it does. As you get a little bit older, I guess you've had more to drink and you're like, yeah, whatever. And
I'll stick to my beer.
Yeah, I'll stick to my beer. I'll stick to my bourbon or my whiskey. But you look at that group, I don't really see anything below that from the 18 on or 21 on. And it could just be, again,
what's the drinking age?
Pardon?
What's the drinking age in Canada?
The 19 and 18 in Quebec. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Quebec's fun.
Until the police pull you over and realize you're 19 and you're from Ontario, you're 18 and you're from Ontario.
Uh-oh.
In the good old USA, you can fight a war, but you can't have a drink.
That's why being in Ottawa, we're right on the river. Hull Gatineau is right across the river, like 10 minutes from us. So yeah. every Ottawa kid who turns 18 is like, we're going to Gatineau.
Yeah, it's just across the bridge.
Fucked.
I mean, they're looking at switching the drinking age in the U.S. They've been looking at it for a while because what's happening is kids are binging because they have to do, when you're doing it unsupervised or at someone's home because you can't go to a bar, you're more likely to overdrink.
Yeah, it was an article. There was an article I saw speaking of that article I read years ago. They were saying there's a direct correlation. They did some obviously a lot of research. Direct correlation between like when you get drunk, you do stupid shit, right? And they said there's a direct correlation between that stupid shit having lifelong repercussions if you're older. So that's where they're saying when you're older, if the drinking limit is 21 or even higher, whatever, and you start doing stupid shit, there's more lifelong repercussions to that stupid shit. Whereas if you drop the drinking age to 18, 17, even 16, that stupid shit that you do is not as bad. So that's what that, like,
the way earlier.
Exactly. So they were basically saying the drinking age should be dropped because you get over that dumb shit that you do at an early age, and it won't have these lifelong repercussions.
Well, in Europe, they can drink at a much earlier age, and they drink with their meals. So for them, they don't have the same. Yeah, I can get out there and have a drink, or I have to go out and sneak my drinking and my booze with my friends in the back field someplace, and I got to get home somehow. Right?
Yeah, connected right to what you said, David. Like, so in my business, you do a lot of you do events for a lot of foreign clients, but the planners and people are normally Americans. And so whenever they have like a European client, they're like, oh, my clients are European. That means they drink a lot, And I always try to explain to them, they don't drink a lot, they drink often. There's a really big difference, right? So Americans drink a lot. We were bingers because of the strict rules that we're raised with. And I imagine Canadians are similar. In Europe, it's part of the culture of drinking. So they drink often. Maybe they have a wine during lunch and then a wine during dinner, and maybe another drink afterwards. So they're never drinking so much at one point that they're getting inebriated,
Well, yeah.
And that's big difference. A big difference.
Exactly.
I try to explain to them.
It's like I was saying earlier with my sister going to my mom and going like, is Rob an alcoholic? It's like, no, I have a wide collection of whiskeys and other liqueurs and spirits, but it's not like I'm binge drinking every night. I very rarely get drunk, but I enjoy a drink on a daily basis.
I mean, the beauty of cocktail making is the experience, right? And then having that drink afterwards too, to kind of like,
And I've always kind of been that way. I remember when I was younger, going clubbing with my friends, I'd always be that guy. We had a big group of friends. We'd get to the club, and one guy'd be like, "Let's get 10 pitchers of Coors," and I'd be like, "Oh, can I get one Guinness, please?"
And then everybody looks at you funny, and you're like, "What?"
Well, I've never been a bitch drinker, man. Never been. I've only been drunk maybe 4 or 5 times in my life where I've been like, holy moly, drunk.
When we used to go to once a year, I don't know if it still happens. It's been a few years since I've been, but in Vegas, every July there's a huge martial arts conference, and so we've gone there. It's a martial arts conference specifically for like school owners and school instructors. So we went several years in a row. And of course, so you're training every day, but you're also partying every night because you're in Vegas, right? And we'd be walking the strip, and these guys would go to there's this one casino is like a buck of beer, so they'd go in and they're coming out with like 4 beers in each hand, like and I'm just like, I'm gonna wait till we find a nice cocktail bar somewhere. I don't need to get wasted on stuff that tastes like piss.
The worst beer I ever had, actually, speaking of piss, was in Aruba. I remember having their like native beer. They would give it to you at the hotel, like in buckets, for like $5. Like, oh wow, how bad could it be, right? It was so awful. Well, on the flip side, their water is unbelievable. Their tap water is incredible. So I mean, the tap water, I was like drinking tap water because the beer was so bad.
Damn, tap water. Imagine getting that excited over tap water.
Yeah, seriously. This shit's good. This is good ass water, yo. I'm from New York City, where it's notoriously the greatest tap water in the world. But I mean, I'm assuming Canadians have pretty good ass tap water.
Our tap water. Well, it depends. If you go into the countryside, you get this like this. I went to a few campsites campgrounds that had like a sulfur rich water. So you get that egg smell in the water.
That's not cool.
No. Yeah,
that's not cool.
But there's some places where it's crystal clear and it's the best stuff you can ever try. It totally depends on where you are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember because I grew up in New Jersey, so like water it's heavier up there. So now being a flight attendant, I've flown all over the world, and the best water is definitely in Bergen, Norway.
Really? Yeah.
Interesting.
But
interesting pick.
It comes like right off the fjords, like some good stuff. But they have I got based in Florida, and it's so funny because up north, if you drink a glass of water, you're like full and you can't drink any more water because it's so heavy. And like down here, you're chugging water and you're never like, that's enough.
Interesting. Yeah.
But
So
it
Grace, you went from the baking to now you're a flight attendant, you said?
well, not anymore because COVID and then my
So
airline.
so are you doing this because of COVID also? Kind of like me?
Yeah. I realized like, pretty much everything's gonna go virtual, I think.
Yeah, because I know travel's been hit as hard as hospitality.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I teach pastry, and I teach pastry on the weekends now at
Mhm.
and then I'm doing this, but I'm trying to just do this because, like just like you, I'm sure you've been involved with like other businesses before, and I feel like you put your heart into it. You don't own it, so you have no control.
No. It's oh god, it's such a huge frustration. I left such a legacy behind. That it sucks to not be able to take that with me. And I don't want that to ever happen again. I want to create my legacy and hold on to it, and it's mine, and take my buddies along with me. Hopefully, and we can do something bigger. I'm a full believer, and I know David and Rob are that we're scratching the surface of what we can do.
Absolutely.
I really fully believe that.
Yeah,
I know.
I think we could definitely. I feel like all you guys need your own interview because I feel like we're just scratching the surface and.
Well, I mean, and I think that one of the best lines I've ever heard was like, YouTube is a marathon. It's not a race.
No.
You got to keep at it. People get into this thinking, like you were saying earlier, like that, thinking that, I've got a great personality. I'm awesome. I'm gonna be successful within 6 months, and you might be great, but it's, you're not.
Well, have you
No,
guys
it's not.
watched The Social Dilemma or anything like that?
No.
No. So it's a really good documentary. It's on Netflix now, and it goes, it really explains that we're shifting towards like an attention economy. So one of the things
Check that
about
out.
attention too is familiar. I'm not gonna be able to say it.
That's right.
Too much Alvarado. Familiarity.
You're from New Jersey. I'm from New York. Trust me. Any more than 4 syllables, then forget about it.
Or like 3 drinks in, that helps too.
But the more they see your face, the more they're gonna get comfortable with you. The more they're gonna, I want to go hang out with that guy.
Mhm.
So that definitely
Absolutely.
leads to marathon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water.
Well, you can have us all on individually. We'll be happy to come back on and talk
Absolutely.
more. That's for sure.
I think I'm gonna have to call it. My kid is getting off school now. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's homeschool.
I have to get back to work. I actually said I'd be back.
Did you have like an outro
outro
or conclusion you wanted to do, or?
Also, if you're not gonna, people listening, if they're not gonna participate in hashtag spicy on the
Spice on the Rocks.
Spice of the
2021.
Rock. 2021.
Spice on the Rocks 2021. What's the next February one gonna be, or when are you gonna announce it?
Well, we're definitely going to do some sort of Valentine's Day thing, which we'll be talking about soon. And then who knows? Maybe a St. Patrick's Day Irish thing in March.
Green cocktail.
That's right. And who knows? Maybe a Easter. I don't know if they're Easter cocktails. Is that a thing? Maybe a chocolate cocktail with some bunny ears on it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Listen, the fun of it is just to use your imagination, have fun with it.
That's right.
No,
There's
absolutely.
there's nothing competitive.
Try new things all the time.
Yeah. I mean, David put a piece of apple pie as garnish one time. Sky's the limit, guys. Sky's is the limit. All right.
I'm waiting for you to put like an apple pie in the drink, and then like give it a good mix.
When I saw David do that, I said, God, I'm in the right community. I am
That's
in
right.
the right niche.
All right.
I'm sticking around for this one.
We're gonna. I'll put all the links in the description, so just make sure you guys send them to me, and also like the Photoshop one and anything else you're like, oh, we
Sounds
talked
good.
about this. This might
Mhm.
be for people. Like, let's get that in the description, and yeah, we'll.
All right,
have you
Grace.
guys
Thanks
on
for having
Yes,
us, Grace.
Thanks for having us. This was a lot of fun.
It was.
next time. Yeah,
We'll have
less
to do it again.
difficulties. There's actually a Comcast truck right outside my building right now. Ridiculous.
Is it for you?
All right.
Ciao, guys.
All right.
Talk to you
You
later.
have a great day. You too.
All right, guys.
All right.
Okay, bye.